Yeah, for sure. Electrical grid does get compromised a couple times, actually, not just once. One of the times, though, it's such a drastic compromise to the grid that it takes years to get back up and running. And in fact, even years later, it's not up and running the way it had been prior to the event. I wasn't able to see whether it was like sabotage or nature, but it is going to happen. So it is important for us to, do some light preparations on being okay without electricity for a few days or for a few months if need be. Um, you know, uh, I don't think you need to go off and invest in a bunch of prepper stuff, but yet, take some preparations, just some modest preparations. Don't go too deep into it necessarily. One thing for sure though, you don't want yourself putting your mind in a place of fear while you're doing this. You want to keep your mind in a place of loving respect for whatever changes are ahead. And if you do that, you're going to make the right preparations. Sometimes people put their mind into a place of fear. They take a bunch of missteps. They spend too much money. They invest in things they didn't need to invest in. So they can, don't go that path. Keep your mind in a place of love and respect for whatever we're supposed to learn from that grid going down. But it will definitely go down. So I don't feel that it went down worldwide.
Okay.
I feel it does go down in major societies though.
Okay.
So most of your major societies, I feel that it does go down in that. I would include, United States, India, China, likely Russia, possibly parts of Africa. But I feel that there's little areas that are independently powered off of the grid. They feed into the grid, but they have like certain safety mechanisms that allow them to shut down that integration so that they can still run autonomously. And there's certain portions of that they survive and they're okay. That there may be a day or two where they're down while they're doing that shutting off process. But yeah, it's going to be important for us to be ready for something like that. I don't feel that it's some type of attack. I feel that if it does happen, it's more Mother Nature than anything. Or some type of cosmic event that does it. Back in the late 1800s, there was something called the Carrington event, and it was a solar storm. It was a coronal mass ejection that came at such a high level that it was lighting up the telegraph wires. They were heating up and melting the wires themselves. And so, that's a possible event that could happen at any time. So it's something that we just have to factor in. It's a likely possibility. I do know that it eventually happens by the time we have our big reset and we're building a different community, a different society. Yeah, easily within the next 5 to 10 years. Yeah.
Okay.
It could happen tomorrow. I mean, it really could. The Carrington event could happen today. I mean, but here's the good news. Something like Carrington, we're going to know 3 days before it happens, because we have so many satellites and programs monitoring our sun now. We didn't know to do that, and plus we didn't have the technology back when that happened, but now we do. We have that, gratefully, we have that technology. So I feel that if it's going to happen from the sun, we'll know 3 days, 2 to 3 days before it happens. We might be seeing the instantaneous symptoms of it right away, but the hard part of it, the shutdown part of it, it won't happen until the actual wave hits us, which is usually 2 to 3 days after we monitor it coming off the sun. I see the modern American life completely changing in the next 10 years. I feel that there's a house of cards that's actively collapsing in front of our eyes. In the news, in the public sector, we are seeing the old guard or the old regime, which ran the Western world for all of our known lives, but I think even long before that, it was running things. we're watching it collapse in front of our eyes. And as it does, it's collapsing by design. It was never meant to last as long as it did. As it collapses, the replacement's only going to be better. We get to be the replacement. We get to be the solutions. There's a reason why the news, the media, movies have always been playing this story that everyone needs an outside savior. Everybody needs a superhero to come save them. And it's so that you don't own your own solutions. Well, now we're coming into a phase where it's time for us to wake up the superhero inside of us. It's time for us to wake up the savior inside of us. And as we do, we can save ourselves and we can save others. And that's really what this is about, is shifting out of the old mindset that the government brings me all my solutions, my job brings me all my welfare, and my income. We're looking outside of ourselves for everything. We don't need to. We can receive our answers inside. Imagine what the owner of the Titanic felt as it sunk. What do you think he felt? What did he want to do? Did he want to sink with the Titanic, or did he finally wake up and say, no, I better get off here?
Right.
And here's the thing. Don't be someone holding on to the Titanic as it sinks. Really understand that your home is not your happiness.
Mm-hmm.
Your job is not your happiness. Your car is not your happiness. Your income is not your happiness. Your happiness is something you own inside of you. Allow yourself to own that with a simple sunrise. Allow yourself to own happiness with a flower that you see, with a bird, with nature, with your kids, your family, your friends. That to me is far more important than the most beautiful house, the biggest legacy or income or bank account. That stuff is not real. It's perceived value. It's perceived value. I feel that there's going to be a process of prioritizing everything. There will be. And home is wherever you decide it is.
Mm-hmm.
It's not a building. And happiness is not a building. Happiness is something we can choose. And we can choose it whether we're with family, whether we're without family, whether we're with pets, whether without. Here's the thing. For me, I love my pets. I'm going to do whatever I can to bring them with me. So for me, that for my plans would be to bring my pets with me at all possibility. But at the same time, I also have been to heaven. I know what's on the other side of that gate. I'm not afraid of that gate. I'm excited for that gate. If I'm seeing a mass tragedy coming towards my city, I'm going to go out and put a lawn chair, grab myself a little cold drink of water, and enjoy every bit of the last moments of my life so that I can be ready for what's next. I'm not afraid to die in any way, shape, or form. I'm excited for it. So fear of death is not something that I have anymore. Ever since I came back, I don't have that. But that's something I know that's kind of like bred into us in society. Well, once you take that off the table, you realize you can be very intentional about what you do and what's priority for you. You realize that you're not going to pour all your happiness into a job or into a house or into a life's work. Happiness is something you can own every day when you wake up, no matter where you wake up, no matter what you just slept on. Some of us may feel the calling to flee,
Mm-hmm.
but here's what I perceive is part of the process.
Okay.
Some of us will feel that calling long before any tragedy is coming.
Mm.
And we'll follow it, and we'll be putting ourselves in a place that doesn't make sense, but that will be the exact place we are supposed to be as this turmoil or change happens. I don't like to think of it as tragedy or turmoil. I like to think of it as just change. All changes end up becoming positive changes in the long run. If you zoom out from history, every change becomes positive if you look back far enough. And that's what you have to do. You have to just keep understanding all these changes are positive in the long run. And so to me, it is, tapping into that intuition and following it is going to be a big, big part of your success or failure with, navigating what's coming in the future, for sure. For some people, it might become dangerous. For others, it's not going to be dangerous at all. I feel like even a family surrounded by violence and looting and robbing each other to try to survive because resources ran out, those who keep that mantle of gratitude, love, and forgiveness on them, they're able to navigate through that no problem. But if you're in a fearful mind state, if you're in a state where you're like, oh, they're going to get me, oh, they're going to get me, you'll actually attract and bring attack. And so it's going to be important to start mastering your thoughts now, learning how to do that. We talked meditation as an important part of that, learning that if you're not afraid of dying, then nobody has any leverage over you. You get to live and be who you want to be and how you want to be. To me, every day that I wake up is a miracle. I really believe that. The fact that I exist, I feel is a miracle. And having the knowledge I have now, the fact that I existed before my experience is a miracle. The fact that all of us exist is a miracle. But deeper than that, there's going to be really big miracles happening all over the place, involving prayer, involving meditation, involving healing each other of certain problems or maladies. We will be helping each other through this process and only becoming stronger. All of our ancestors were pioneers in a way. If you go back to any country, there were settlers and pioneers that went into that land and settled it and grew it into something. Well, all of us will be the pioneers of the future. We are the pioneers that will be creating this new space. But I'm telling you, we will get to a road where we will have to choose fear and survival or love and intuition. And if we go towards the love and intuition, we get to a special protection with that we don't need to worry about the survival. We will understand that if we're dying, it's because we were supposed to. And we're taking our rightful place on the other side of existence, on the eternal side of existence, to be where we're supposed to be. Well, I know that there will be technology being handed to us from others.
Like aliens? When you say others, what do you mean?
The way I perceive it is I feel that there's these higher beings. They exist around us already. Some people can perceive them. Like right now, some people can perceive these beings. And it's going to be us receiving technology from these beings that really helps us level up our own existence. And it could be us receiving through download or inspirational thoughts. You look at an artist or you look at a singer or a poet and they say, this just downloaded into me and I had to write it down. That's what it's going to be like. We're going to receive these energies first in thought first. And then later, as we connect better to these energies, who they are, we're going to receive actual technologies. And that's part of the miracles. But even better than that, we start arriving the hero, the superhero inside of us. And we let it grow up and activate. And we start serving and loving and caring for each other in unselfish ways, in selfless ways, in what some people would call the Christ consciousness. We start serving each other. And as we do, our cohesive actions start bringing forth an energy of like a Christ in our midst. And it's going to be miraculous to be a part of. There will be times where you think as a little group or as a family or as an individual, like, oh no, I'm doomed. I see this thing in front of me that's going to, take my life away from me. And we'll put ourselves in a loving space and say, you know what, that doesn't matter, because I know that all that comes is good. And as we put our mind and our consciousness in that space, miracles will happen in front of us. Threats wiped away, or threats don't even see us. Like they can't even see us, as if we're existing in a different space. Whether that's a natural threat, whether that's a perceived threat, or an actual threat. It's going to be so important for ourselves to put the core of who we are in a space of light and gratitude and love, no matter what is going on around us. And for me, I think of magical moments. A really magical moment for me was when I held my daughter for the first time. And to me, that was such a magical moment. And so when I need a magical moment, I'll go there. In my mind, I will go there and I will feel that magic. Helps me anchor myself in that love space. And then I can handle the day differently. Love is the greatest power in the universe. Don't cut yourself off from it. Don't cut your love off from anyone else. And let that love be that flowing force within your heart, within your mind, within your consciousness. And as you become a good flower of that love, you will blossom into the flower of that love that you were always meant to be.